Good morning and welcome back to the Early Learning Lounge, your Monday Morning Reframe. I'm your host, Tammy and I am so glad you're here. Last week, in episode 1, we talked about the why early learning matters, why our work is so critical, and how reframing our why helps us reconnect to purpose in the middle of the busy. Today, we're exploring something we all feel, but don't always stop to question: the emotional hustle. That rush we carry from one moment to the next, the pressure to keep up, stay composed, and keep moving, even when our hearts and minds need to pause. When we bring that pace into our classroom, it shapes how we respond to children, often without even realizing it, because the energy we carry sets the tone for the day. When we're hurried or overwhelmed, we're more likely to react than to reflect. That's where Luca's story begins. Luca walked into class that morning full of energy, AirPods in, singing to himself, bringing joy and rhythm into the room. He wasn't trying to be disrespectful, he was simply being 12. But his teacher, already frustrated after a challenging morning, had reached her limit. She turned and raised her voice. In that instant, everything shifted. Luca froze. The brightness that carried him into the room disappeared. And I think we can all relate to Luca in that moment. When someone raises their voice, our bodies react before our brains can catch up. Our hearts race, our muscles tighten, our minds prepare to protect us. It's not defiance, it's biology. When we experience threat, our ability to think, listen, and learn shrinks. Fear doesn't teach regulation, safety does. But instead of shutting down, Luca did something remarkable. He took a deep breath and he said, "It really triggers me when someone yells. It makes me feel anxious." That's awareness. That's emotional intelligence. But the teacher, still caught in frustration, said, "You need to be more respectful." And Luca, calm, honest, and brave, replied, "Yelling isn't respectful. Respect is earned." That moment was short but powerful. It reminded everyone in that room what respect truly means and how easily it can be lost when emotion takes over. So often, when children act out, our instinct is to ask what's wrong with them. But what if we asked instead what's happening for them? Luca's singing wasn't disrespect, it was expression. Joy meeting a classroom already holding stress. And the teacher's reaction wasn't unkindness, it's exhaustion, a human moment. When we reframe behavior, we stop assigning blame and start seeking understanding. We see two nervous systems trying to find safety at the same time. And that's where empathy comes in. And that's where connection begins. Luca's response was an act of agency. He recognized what he was feeling and used his voice to express it respectfully. That's not defiance, that's emotional literacy in action. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child reminds us that every child has the right to be heard, to express their feelings, and to be treated with dignity. When Lucas said, "Yelling makes me feel anxious," he wasn't being disrespectful, he was practicing self-advocacy. He was asking to feel safe enough to learn. Our job as educators isn't to demand respect, it's to model it. Respect isn't built through control, it's built through connection, through trust, through empathy. Let me be clear. The story isn't about judging the teacher. It's about understanding the human side of teaching. We all have moments when frustration takes over. Teaching is deeply emotional work. We carry the energy of dozens of children all day, every day. That's why self-awareness is critical. Knowing our triggers, understanding our limits, and preparing for those moments, that's part of professional practice. Because children don't learn calm by being told to calm down. In fact, I don't know anyone that does. They learn it by watching our calm. They don't learn respect from obedience, they learn it by feeling respected. Every interaction is a lesson in regulation. Every moment is a chance to model the behavior we hope to see. So, as you step into this week, take a moment to pause, breathe, and reflect. When a child challenges you, ask, what might this behavior be telling me? How can I respond with respect rather than reaction? Every time we choose curiosity over control, we teach safety, we teach empathy, and we teach respect. And remember, respect doesn't start when a child behaves. Respect begins when we do. Luca's story reminds us that children's voices aren't interruptions of our work, it's the heartbeat of it. Luca was too nervous to join me for a live interview, but was happy to share his story, and I am so grateful that he did. And speaking of busy, next week we'll be talking about the culture of busy, how it shows up in our classrooms, our leadership, and our lives. And I'll have a special guest joining me for that conversation. You won't want to miss it. So as you move through your Monday, take a deep breath, lead with heart, and remember, you're doing work that truly matters. Have a wonderful week, educators, and I'll see you next time right here in the Early Learning Lounge, your Monday morning reframe.